Okay, welcome to East Point Gaming. I am Akiboya1.
I am just Luke.
I'm Jim Harris.
And I'm Big A1074.
And good lord, this is a long load screen.
And welcome to a very solemn episode of East Point Gaming as we mourn the loss of Fable Legends.
I don't mourn the loss of Fable Legends.
Well, you're dancing on its grave. Just like, I told you so, I told you so.
Oh, congratulations. We unlocked it.
I've always been able to play as the villain.
It doesn't remember.
So there's actually an NDA on this where you're not allowed to share.
That's why you can see my gamer tag all over
which
the
is why his gamer tag's all over the screen. But now that the game is defunct, the NDA is essentially
worthless.
Yeah, kaput as well, because this is going down on April 13th, and we thought we would do a little post-mortem. I guess this will go up right afterwards. That way we can be like, we just played it and you can.
A little backstory. Originally, we had a video that was still in the pipeline. It was just audio of us just talking about the game, what we liked, what we disliked, all that stuff. I never got around to posting it because we made some other videos that I really liked. But since now that it's pretty much debunked and now it's going to be offline, it's going to be done for, now we can actually show off some stuff that we can use.
Defunct.
You
said debunked.
I know.
Which is a word, but a different word.
Not the right
different, yeah.
Well, you know what, Michael?
Who's Michael?
Jim Harris.
Yes.
You tell him to go jog on.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Let me ask. Okay, so I guess we should just get started because we're just going to talk about how this all happened.
Hold on while I relieve myself a little.
So correct me if I'm wrong. This is actually the entirety of Lionhead Studios is going down, right?
And Lionhead is gone. A lot of Sony people actually picked them up.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's really interesting.
Crap. You're telling me you might get a Fable game and
How great would that be?
You bastard.
They may.
Is this gonna be the whole video?
Is that still happening? That's a really good question.
It continues until I move.
Honestly, because it will be interesting to see what IPs if Lionhead. Okay, well, two parts. One, it depends if Sony is picking up Lionhead, or if they're just picking up certain people. My guess is that they're gonna pick up certain people as opposed to the company, so that way they don't have to pay Microsoft.
Yeah,
but
that would make sense.
If they are attracted to certain IPs like Fable or like an IP that they haven't used in a long time, like what's that got? Black and White.
Yeah.
The movies, stuff like that, then they could try for Lionhead.
I mean, I'm excited to see what happens because Lionhead has made some really good games in the past, and Sony does a lot of good, works with a lot of indie darlings in terms of that, in terms of indie developers.
Which they are now if they continue to exist.
Yeah, which they are now. So I'm very interested in what happens, but what I'm more fascinated about is to see how this all went down.
My friend's online.
So Jem Harris, you have some strong opinions about this. Is that really as fast as you can run?
In this area?
In the town,
yes.
Okay. That is
I think we
really
all had
bizarre.
some pretty strong opinions on this, but
that should just be a walk cycle.
Yeah.
Not because it looks like she's running at point. Oh, anyway, I want to hear Jem Harris because he has extreme opinions.
Well, I mean, not opinions about this game in particular, but more on these games obviously Fable Legends, Star Wars Battlefront, the games that are all focused on the servers that you spend $60 to get a full-fledged game.
Yeah.
Obviously not in this case because this was a beta, but the point is you spend $60 to get a game like Star Wars Battlefront, and then you're basically beholden to however long it takes Microsoft or the studio or whoever owns the servers to take those servers offline.
I mean, and another thing, with Star Wars Battlefront in particular, the game itself was $60, or if you got a special edition, it was $80. But then they lock in the season pass, which was $50, which is another fucking game.
And honestly, that season pass had a lot of material that should have been in the game initially.
Yeah. And again, with Star Wars Battlefront, I also felt like there was a lot of stuff missing. Where the hell's a story mode? Where is just galactic battles?
Where the hell is chicken kicking?
Jem, so let me ask you, we also just played Rocket League. Do you feel the same way about a game like Rocket League, where because that's all server-based, but obviously that's become, quite popular.
Well, obviously that game, I think, has, because it's so popular, it has the advantage that it's probably not going to get shut down anytime soon.
It's also kind of becoming a major e-sport.
Yes.
Yeah, but do you also think it's also because, like, the company takes the time to update the servers? A lot of the stuff you can just unlock by playing. All the, you can't, pay to win, like you can, Star Wars Battlefront, where the most powerful gun in the game you get as a pre-order bonus.
Is behind a paywall.
Well, the thing that also, with Rocket League, since you bring that up, is that there was an offline mode.
Yeah, exactly.
You could play the game.
Check out our Part 1 video.
Yes, check out our Part 1 video. There was an offline mode, so, you didn't have to be on the internet all the time. You didn't need to, find people. Like, here the problem is now, there's no one playing Fable Legends, so we actually can't go into the game because...
Well, I haven't
he hasn't tried yet.
hero.
But when he was a villain, and we weren't recording, it took him, 5 minutes to find one, and no one was there.
No one was there.
Yes.
And that's at the point where people might try and, this is these are the last days. If someone wants to check out the game, you'd almost think that there was a little bit more initiative to play it now.
Yeah. I honestly feel the biggest problem with this was it focused like Mike says, it focused so heavily online. And Fable, to me, is not an online game.
Well, it's an RPG.
Right.
Which is, I mean, that has, MMO RPGs.
Please, we all know in Fable it's all about the chicken kicking.
But, okay, yes, that's true. But I remember when we all played minus Harrison, Jem Harris, but we all played the first Fable. And we all talked about it, we all did different stories, and we were all different classes, we focused on different things. And it was great because no one had the same experience and background. Then Fable 2 came along. Fable 2 was kind of a letdown towards the end, but the best part was co-op. So we all had fun playing that and coming over to other people's houses and helping us with the quest. Then
this bastard sleeping with my computer wife.
Don't hit him. But then Fable 3 came along, and that was a disaster.
Just clarification, this bastard was just Luke.
Yeah.
that
slept
Hockey Boy was talking about.
Slept with a computer wife in a video game, so who really cares? But anyway, and it's all fine. But then they started to and then I think Fable 3 started to kind of take away from the RPG side of it, and you started being more focusing. Oh, now you're a king, but you really don't get to make any decisions.
Well, and you don't make any decisions here at all.
Yeah.
This is barely an RPG.
This isn't. This is more MOBA.
Yeah, this is more MOBA, and you look at. Fable was one of the first games to really have a significant amount of choices in a modern era sense. And since then, I'd say
it's gone downhill.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's gone downhill, but I'd say a lot of games have sort of done what Fable has done since then, and way more. So it was a big path paver initially, but it
just never expanded on its own.
Yeah, the initial.
Okay, let's see how long this is gonna take.
The initial fun part was decide what your hero is gonna look like, make choices, blah blah. Everything is stripped out of a game in this format.
How much time did you spend in the original Fable? About how many?
I'll be damned.
Oh, well, son of a bitch.
Computer control. I was gonna be a felon, you bastards.
Okay, but how long? Do you remember? How long did it take you in the original Fable to find the good armor you wanted and a sword you really wanted?
Fucking A, forever.
Right?
Although, granted, in the original Fable, I really liked the demon door. That if you were just a big enough badass in front of it, you got the pickaxe.
Right, exactly.
That was my favorite.
And then you try different things, do you try to get the sword in the stone? Do you try to get behind a demon door by completing a challenge? You become super evil just to open up a door. It created an idea for you just to go completely nuts and try as many different things as possible.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing, Aki Boy, not Jem Harris.
You're Jem Harris.
Yes, I'm Jem Harris. The two of you are talking about that. You're both picking out moments that were important to you and that you remember from that game.
Yeah, straight.
Are there any such moments in this?
Fuck no.
No.
Exactly.
Not in.
Again, it's like what Luke said. They stripped out all the things that made it memorable.
Well, it's not just that made it. They stripped out the identity. It's a different type of game, and you. It's weird because you don't try and attract people. It's like an opposite fan base,
Yeah.
It's a weird.
It's a whole other beast.
They're trying to get people in who like MOBAs, but they're excluding the people who really liked Fable.
I want to talk some more about what Jem Harris was saying, which was Rocket League and online mode and blah blah blah. We were talking about in Rocket League I was making fun of it, but yes, the fact of the matter is, all of the upgrades there are cosmetic. Yeah. And here, some of the strongest weapons lie behind paywalls. Yeah. So even if it's, even if it comes out as free to play, if you want the real experience, you're still looking at maybe even more money than you would for a retail experience, and that's with server-dependent gameplay.
Yeah.
That said, this is a very...
It's a very beautiful looking game.
It's very attractive.
Which would have been fine if I was starting out with a blank slate and can, determine everything about
Right, but to be fair, though, in the original Fable games, it wasn't a complete blank slate. Like, you couldn't go into complete character customization. You can do hair and facial hair. Like, it's not as in-depth as, Mass Effect.
In this case,
but
we're
having
talking
said that,
predefined will users, might users, skill users.
Right, you can't change, I guess you can't really change, you can't pick and choose the outfits.
Well, you can do that, kind of. It's more like skins.
Right, but it's skins. Like, in the original, again, going back to the other Fable games, you can choose this gauntlet, or you can choose this helmet, or you can choose this shirt, you can choose these pants. You could pick and choose what you want. This is like, oh, you like that shirt, but you have to have everything on it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Rocket League is, what, $10, $15?
Something like that, yeah. And they usually do sales on it now and again, pick up Rocket League for $10.
Okay, so I want to ask a question.
Shoot.
This is a game that obviously is very far in development.
Yeah.
So what do you think happened?
I honestly think
Microsoft lost faith in it?
I think it was a mixture of that, but I honestly feel after certain results of the beta, I feel like not a lot.
Like how people like me just
lost
interest?
After not just lost interest, I can imagine when we were doing the recording, there was bugs happening.
And I was reporting.
And you were reporting. So there was in that initial recording, there was 3 bugs when you reported. And I feel they couldn't keep up with the demand of fixing the bugs. And I feel Microsoft lost faith. And also, I feel like the fan base wasn't there. Because I think they were all expecting, okay, it's going to be Fable with this story, and then if I want to, I can jump online. If this was a game mode...
Yeah.
This would have been fine.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ability as playing as the villain, but once again...
Right, but how cool would it have been?
I mean, kind of like Mass Effect 3 had a multiplayer mode.
Right, and this is what it reminds me of that. Because Mass Effect 3 had this story mode. Again, not a lot of people liked it towards the end. I was one of them. But it gave you this multiplayer mode where it was something different.
It's and the single player mode is like a 50-hour campaign.
Right.
Here's the other. I think that they spent too much money. I think that's what happened. I think that their spending was probably because this has been in development for what 4 or 5 years.
This was supposed. I thought this
2.
was supposed to come out the same year as the Xbox One was supposed to come out.
A little off there, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but this has been in development a very long time. I was interested in it because, it was going to be the first Lionhead game without Peter Molyneux, and there's he's obviously as about outsized a figure as you can get in gaming, and a lot of people have issues with him for good reasons. But I was very curious what the studio was going to look like, and say what you want about him. Clearly, he knew how to lead a team and get a product out on time.
Which this is not.
I'm wondering if just the leadership that was left at Lionhead after he left just wasn't together, or if Microsoft itself tried to impose more because it had a less clear leader, and it just led to, I mean, it's all speculation, obviously.
I mean, I don't think we'll ever really know.
So, we've talked a lot about the circumstances. Hockey Boy, you're playing. What do you actually think of the game?
Well, I mean, it handles fine. Once again, it kind of annoys me that we have to unlock our abilities, one per area.
I don't know.
That's it?
Oh. Well, like I said, I kind of lost interest. I loved playing as the film.
Right. Okay.
Right, which was something...
Which one person can do. So 1 out of 5 players is going to do.
Right, and in the video we're talking about, so it's cool because then it turns kind of into a tabletop. So you're seeing a live feed of the heroes moving around, and then you can drag traps, you can drag monsters.
You command where the monsters go.
Yeah, so you can set up like pincer attacks, and it makes it, again, it makes a different experience, which is nice. But again, I feel like this whole game mode, and that guy's caped on top of his head, this whole game mode I feel could have been an addition. You could have done a story around it. Like, do have a single player story mode, and then have this with your created character into this world, and then you can do these MOBA-like missions.
Master weapons found. What's the point of getting chests at this point?
You know, I feel like they put all their eggs into one basket, and that's where I feel also Star Wars Battlefront did too. They put all their eggs into one basket, and it didn't work out. And
did it not work out though? I mean, people are mad at Star Wars Battlefront, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has made a lot of money.
It's made a lot of money. It definitely made back its investment, but the problem is going forward, people aren't buying the DLCs. They're not buying the season passes. They may not buy the next game because they felt betrayed.
I don't think so, because I think with stuff like that where it's free to play, I think really honestly it's like 1 to 5% of the user base is what you get your money off of.
I guess, but again, for me personally, like when we did Battlefront with we had fun with it. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, we just put on a brave face. No, it's a fun game, but there's no longevity. Like, say what I will about Call of Duty, I may bash it, I may think it's stupid, but there is longevity. Call of Duty does a good job of keeping its fans hooked.
Well, they also have a new one come out every year.
Well, that's for another discussion. But they always try to do something somewhat different. Whether that be something different in the story mode, a new multiplayer map, a new idea. Star Wars Battlefront just kind of took the safe route out. You know, it didn't try to reimagine old things. Like, how cool would it have been? Okay, how cool would it have been if you had galactic conquest and like space battles? How cool would it? It would have been amazing. But no, they stuck to flying around in an open area and like Call of Duty, like running and gunning. You know, and it doesn't. And like, it could have been like this amazing thing. It could have been, it could have been like Star Wars Battlefront 2. That was a fun game. They could have done a much better version of that, but instead they played it safe.
Well, I also wonder if that's more or less what they did. Is that they just did that, and that's a fun game. It's also a fun game that's 10 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, isn't it? I mean, talking about sort of onto the idea of replayability. I mean, how many of these Fable Legends or Star Wars Battlefront, like little missions can you do before the fun wears off?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm replaying Red Dead Redemption. Just because there was so much replayability in that, just to wander and just get hijinks. But then you play something new, like what's a good example? Because I don't want to beat Star Wars to death. What was another game we played that's really repetitive?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Jem here. Is how do you keep the incentive going?
I mean, I think that's the idea of DLC. Like, okay, like the idea of like The Witcher 3. I was talking about this also on when we did Fable. I loved how their business model was, okay, we're making three big expansion packs.
Yeah.
Those are going to be at least $25. But here's a bunch of free DLC.
No. I think you're missing the point. The point isn't DLC at all.
No.
The point I'm trying to make is, it used to be, you got a game for however much it was, and that was all you got. You got that one game,
right?
And then it was what made that game worth playing more than once.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and here's the thing: The Witcher 3, they could have just released that. There could have been no more DLC at all.
Yeah.
You still would have played that game more than once.
Okay, now that I understand your points, I think the reason why, but I do think it's because of DLC that the business model has changed. Because when you think about it, is back then there wasn't no online markets, there wasn't season passes. Like when you get God of War for PlayStation 2,
No.
that's all you got. But then when the idea of, okay, now we can make downloadable content, now we can charge for this, then I think the business model changed. Because when you look at a game like, what was that game that recently came out? And
I mean, I think Jem Harris is right, because Witcher 3 is a late era game that is like 70 hours long. It had 2 games that came before it that not as many people played. It has a lore as dense as, you know, a wall of lead, and it was one of the best-selling games when it came out. And it was one of the best-selling games of the year, and it won all these awards. And it did exactly what Jem Harris said. You know, you fundamentally could have had a similar type game released 10 years ago, because DLC or not, you release, you know, a 70-hour campaign, and you make a good game, and it's gonna sell.
And I'm not sure I buy that this DLC, because DLC is not recent. I mean, you remember back, it used to be you'd buy an expansion, where it'd be like another disc or another cartridge, and you'd use that on top of the original game.
Right, but,
so I don't think you can just say that DLC is a recent thing.
But certain companies, like Destiny is a good example, you can tell huge chunks of that game were ripped out. Like, in terms of story and everything, and then it's very bare bones. And now they're reselling the stuff that was teared out into DLCs and expansions. Like, I agree with you, back in the day, when you want an expansion, you get an expansion. But the expansion didn't give you stuff that was taken out of the finished product. Like, when Diablo 2 came out, that was a giant game to begin with. And the expansion added in a whole other game to it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm getting my words mixed up. Because I feel like that idea of, oh, we can just resell them shit.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think that has less to do... I think that just has to do with the model. I think
and
that...
we might go back there and revive me?
No, they're just gonna leave you to die.
And that's why I prefer playing the film.
Yeah.
I think that, I think the model they've made is so unsustainable that really that's the only way that they can do it, because by the time the game comes out, they are so far in the hole.
Yeah.
That usually they're working on, you know, DLC because they just gotta keep...
They gotta make back a profit.
Yeah.
How much do you think it is like to keep a server online?
Oh.
No, it's not that much. I don't think so.
Like multiple servers. Like
I think in terms of hardware, it's probably a lot, and infrastructure. But like, you don't have to pay internet fees.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all that is a racket anyway.
I think it's more about just how expensive these games are. Because we said earlier, this is certainly a very pretty game.
Yeah.
It's attractive, but how much did they spend just on making it look nice?
Yeah.
You know what? I would have been happy with this kind of graphics with the original.
Yeah.
Remake the original with these graphics.
Absolutely. And it would have been great.
Now keep in mind, I've only done this quest as the villain, so I haven't a bloody clue what I'm doing.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's why your teammates didn't revive you. They could tell.
They never revived me anyway. Crap, you do.
It's just, I mean, it's kind of disappointing because I was kind of looking forward to it because I'm curious to see how it would have worked. But I feel like the biggest problem was the fans were bored of it. Like, getting back to when we were talking about like, why it failed, was because I think it got so repetitive. It wasn't as fun as people thought it was going to be. And because when, like, games like Smite is out, and like, what's another one that's coming out? Like Overwatch, all these MOBA-like games are coming out. Wait, is Overwatch a MOBA or more like Team Fortress?
Overwatch is, well, Team Fortress is like a sort of...
They kind of intermingle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you see my whole, like, games like that and Battleborn. There's so many games like
Which
that.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Gearbox, Outpark with Borderlands.
Yeah, I'm more looking forward to Overwatch.
Oh, you're dead too. Next.
But you see my point though? Like, there's so many games like that.
Oh,
out.
we're down to one chick.
Oh, she's dead.
Oh, open the chest out. What's the point of getting loot at this point?
They don't care. She just doesn't care. But I think at a certain point, the market was just too flustered, and their game was just...
Is that a technical Wall Street term, the flustered market?
I can vouch for that, considering I make desks for those freaking bastards.
But think about it, like, it's like trying to release a fighting game. You have to do something different than every other fighting game that's on the market.
Also, if you're releasing a fighting game, while fighting games are popular, if you're not a company that makes fighting games, you're not going to stand out. You're just trying to go with the trend.
Right, exactly. It's like if the guys who made The Witcher tried to make a martial arts game.
How did I enjoy this, fellas?
You tell us. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why give us this? Like, it should just be every screen like, we're sorry, we're sorry, we're sorry.
All right, so that's a little. I wasn't as well, I don't know if it's less it wasn't as funny as our usual videos, but that's a little discussion.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's good to.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It's good to know that we can actually have a conversation. We're not just all idiots.
Well,
we didn't say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Not all of us.
wait, what?
All right. Well,
final thoughts, I guess.
R.I.P. I guess we won't see Fable Legends again, but you're sure to see us again.
I mean, here's hoping we see anything Fable related again.
Yeah. I hope in the future Fable comes back in a different form. Maybe it's under the Sony banner. Maybe the guys from Lionhead make their own company.
They wouldn't get the rights if they made their own company.
What?
That's not how the rights work.
No,
The
I'm
rights
saying
are owned.
I'm not saying like Lionhead as their own independent. Like the guys from them could start up their own company and like something like that. That's what.
Yeah, but they wouldn't get to have the rights to Fable.
No, but I'm not saying the rights to Fable, but like a game like Fable.
Oh, okay.
Well, were we just arguing about how you weren't happy with the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie?
Yes.
Look, I just think.
Oh my god.
Save it for another one.
All right.
No, but again, but I like the guys from Lionhead.
Okay. Oh well. Okay. You know what? This is running on now. Let's wrap this up.
All right, let's wrap it up. Until next time.
Let's see what I got. Like,
who
this does me
cares?
fucking good.
I'm just Luke.
I'm Jem Harrow.
I am a disappointed Aki boy.
And I'm Big A174, reminding you, here at East Point Gaming, you can always have a good laugh on us.
Just
or
not
a
Fable.
good laugh on Fable Legends. Yeah.
Or a good laugh on Fable.